Welcome back. We're here at Imola. The lights are going on. We're in the old DTM cars. And it's go, go, go. Public server. Ragging the engine up through the gears. Cars everywhere. Oh, there's been an accident up front. He's hit into the wall. We're going to have to try and find a way through. I can't see anything at all. Bloody hell. There's cars everywhere. We've got through it. It was like the parting of the Red Sea. I feel like Joseph there. Not sure how we got away with that, but we did. And the car's struggling for grip here. We've just poked away through that corner. Bit of oversteer, bit of understeer. It's all go. And we've made our way from the back of the grid into 8th place. After doing some Jedi Knight mind trickery there, we just moved everyone out of the way. There we go. The car in front lurching, jumping around. Let's try and throw one up the inside. Oh, let's not understeer into him, sorry. I was expecting a bit more grip. We've just gone from the Mazda MX-5 into this car and it's all go. Oh, this is a bit more refreshing. The Mazda MX-5 is like a family holiday at the beach. This car's like a trip down the rapids. Little bit of a contrast. Oh, struggling for grip. Use the curbing. Up through the gear, up the hill. Imola, fantastic track. The car in front, look at him swerving all over the place. It's like a Scalextric's car going through the plastic chicane. Back of the car, left and right. On the brakes, car in front locking up. Whoa, we're locking up as well. We didn't get a chance to do a qualifying lap. Watch out, because the AstroTurf is slippy. And there's a bit of a battle in front. Oh, we almost drove into him. As we get a box full of neutrals there, we need to remember to push the clutch all the way down. Car's got 6 gears, which is fortunate because I put the car into 6th gear without actually double checking that it has it. And it looks like that guy has gone to build a sand because he's going to join the track slowly. And we've ended up driving into him and now he's lost control. Thought he was going to join a little bit faster than that, but a bit unfortunate as we pile him off the road. Thanks for following, Taurus. Thank you for clicking the follow button. And that's lap 1 complete of this public server race. A bit late on the brakes here. We need to try and catch up. This car's really interesting in that, you know, with it being an older car, it doesn't really have a ton of grip. It will go into understeer and it does go into oversteer quite aggressively, but at the same time it's got so much power. It's awesome. The top speed's fantastic and getting on the power out of corners is fantastic because you have to sort of watch out for it and catch it. We've got a bit of a battle between the 2 cars in front of us, the blue car and the white car. Who's in them? I'm not sure. Martin Oberg and João Frostino fighting away in front of us. Underneath the advertising banner they go. Over the top of the hill. We have to brake here. It's not a Formula car. Well, we've got to watch out for that mid-corner understeer that's catching us off a little bit here. Look at the steering wheel. The AMG logo embossed on it. No airbags in this car. Safety comes last. You don't want any safety in this. This era was if you have an accident you die and that's it. Deal with it. Just look at the bonnet, the dash. We've got nice plastic cooling fan director thingamybobs. Technical term there. Oh god, this car doesn't want to go around tight corners, that's for sure. Look at the little digital dash telling us how much fuel we've got and the speed we're going at. That's all you need. A little speedo that's the size of a digital stopwatch and then a nice analog RPM gauge. Oh, we're struggling here. It's this understeer. We need to get on it so that we don't understeer. I think if we get on the power, we can induce oversteer. And I think if we line the car in with the braking, we can then avoid the understeer that we're suffering from. But we're in 5th place at the moment. There's yellow flags, which can only mean that another driver has driven into the wall. But that doesn't matter. As long as it's not us in the wall, I'm happy. 6th gear here. Going to brake just after 200 metres. Oh, try not to lock up. We're running wide. Please no Kunos penalty. We broke too late there. We need to brake on the 200 metre board, I think. Probably can brake where we did, but just not lock up. If you lock up, you're going in a straight line and you're going to run out of track. This is only a sprint race, what with it being a public server. So Down through the gears there. Again, struggling, understeering. Let's try our best to catch up with them quickly. With it only being a 6-lap race, you don't really have much time to catch up if you make a mistake. Onto the power, and back to the more chilled out part of the track. We can admire the details again. Look at the buttons down there. Don't even know what those gauges are, some kind of pressure gauge. Some sort of pressure gauges in this vehicle. We've got a bunch of switches, probably kill switches, for when you inevitably end up in a wall and catch on fire. Although actually, I doubt this car has safety features like a fire extinguisher. That would be far too safe. We've got a start button down there. There's probably the starter buttons. Don't know what those gauges are. Oh! Hit the brake point there whilst looking at the interior of the car. Yeah, you can be really aggressive with this car on the brakes, and it does have really good brakes. But if you lock up, you're going in a straight line, and then you know, if your brake point was already late and you're really on it, then the moment you lock up, you're going to miss the corner. Down through the gears. Get on the power. It's last corner. There we go, a little bit of counter steer. Nice. Starting to get to the flow of it. I remember these dials on the old Peugeot that my family used to have. Even the same fan type buttons to control the speed of the air conditioning. I say air conditioning. It wasn't really air conditioning. It's just a fan. That's 90's air conditioning for you. So 200 metre board here. Yeah, we could have broke where we broke before. We just have to not lock the wheels up. And then, whoa! Okay. Also, you have to not... Oh, that's why that guy was so slow rejoining the track. This car doesn't like driving on the grass. You also have to not hit any of the trackside corner bumps, because if you do, the car just bounces out of control, and that's it. So, now we know. No grip on the AstroTurf at all. A bit of opposite lock as we get on the power too soon. Those dials don't seem to be moving. I think one of them is a clock, just so you know what time of day it is whilst you're driving around the track, in case you forget. Just ragging the car. Oh, one of them's the oil gauge. What is that? Oh, it's a pressure of some kind. Don't know what pressure it's watching, but it's a pressure gauge. Now you know. So you know, so you know how intense the race is. As the intensity of the race goes up, the pressure gauge goes up. Lap 4 of 6. I don't think we're going to catch up with those guys who've driven off. I suppose it's pretty funny when you drive on a public serve with cars like this. Most people handle about 3 corners, and then that's it. They're off in a wall and dead. And then you'll have 2 or 3 drivers that can actually drive the car, and they'll just keep going. Martin Olberg in front of us. Joe Fusting in front of him. 19 seconds. I can't be too critical of the other drivers on the server though, because we drove off the track and did a pretty poor job of things as well. But there you go. I'm using the load cell to sort of feel out the brake, and now I've got a reference for at what point the wheels lock up. You can feel it out on the brake, just based off the actual amount of pressure you have to push on the brake pedal before locking up. So I think that's the thing with load cells that makes them a lot easier to drive than potentiometer based pedals, is that they're a lot easy. It's a lot easier to learn pressure than distance. Oh, he's disappeared off the track. We're in 5th place. I don't know what that driver was doing. Some back marker. He's thrown in the towel. He's quit. No more racing for him. Just chuck the car into that corner early there. Off we go. I think we've just got 2 more corners, 2 more laps to go. Slowly getting a bit better at this track with this car. You can actually bury your foot on the accelerator and just counter steer, and you're fine. I mean, there's a really awesome video of this vehicle. Oh, watch out, on Brands Hatch on YouTube, and you see the driver going absolutely crazy with the steering at times, especially going through Dingle Dell. He's literally just throwing the steering almost completely opposite lock in the space of a fraction of a second as we get caught out by the understeer yet again. I wonder if the BMW has the same understeer characteristic as this. This is the last lap. We're going to go across the finish line. Well, it's not my last lap. We're coming on to the last lap now. Keep forgetting in AC, the last lap is triggered, or the white flag is triggered by the guy that's in first place going across the start finish line. It's not based off your last lap. There's a car in front chilling out. Might be one of the guys from the stream who's decided to chill out and join us. Or they finished the race maybe. I love these corners on Imola, but you really do have to nail them to get the speed through them. Look at the car. This is a cool thing with 80s race cars. It's just the paint job on them. 80s and 90s race cars. Fantastic paint job. And also because the cars are so square, they just look really cool. Something about ridiculously square cars that's quite appealing. I remember my first Scalextric set I had as a kid. Had a proper square touring car set. I think it was a Peugeot touring car from what I remember. I might have had a Volvo as well. If you remember in the 80s I had, it might have been 80s, late 80s, early 90s, I had the Volvo Estate BTCC car, which was ridiculous. Google that and go on YouTube and have a look at it. That would be a nice car to have in AC. They should actually, that would really be good for AC if they did either a British touring car, just a touring car. Obviously this is DTM, but if they had a sort of touring car selection, 90s touring cars, so you could have a full sort of grid. You could even use these DTM cars. I'm sure you could balance them out. That'd be really cool, because at the moment you've got a lot of GT3 cars, but some of the other classes you can't really do a full grid of varied cars. But anyway, nonetheless, we're going to cross the finish line. Spent most of that race on our own. The start was spectacular, but that is the AMG Mercedes DTM car around Imola. Pretty good fun. Brutal mid-corner understeer, but apart from that, really good car to drive. First built in 1969 and then upgraded with its trademark alien grip strips 30 years later in 1999, the Paul Ricard track has become one of the most popular test venues, host to multiple Formula 1 Grand Prix and more recently the European Le Mans Series.